Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, boys and girls. Welcome back to another new class of distance learning program. My dear students, my name is Sayyid Faraz Hassan, and with me, I have my team, the team of subject specialists, Sir Ashraf Ali and Miss Shabana Salman. Dear students, we have been discussing this topic, solving quadratic equations and functions. And in the last class, we discussed how to solve quadratic equations by using a quadratic formula. Now, what is a quadratic formula? You can see it on your screen. This is a quadratic formula. Okay, let's have a quick recap. X equals to minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Okay. Now, in this, what is A, what is B, what is C? I told you that consider this general form of quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c. A is the coefficient of x square, you can see it here. B is the coefficient of x, and c is the last constant number in the equation, right? You need to extract these values from the equation, and then you need to plug in, put these values in the quadratic formula over here, right? And then you simplify it. You will get two answers, and the two answers will be the solutions of the given quadratic equation. So let's do some questions related to this. Our learning objective for today, by the end of this lesson, inshallah, you will be able to solve fractional equation that can be reduced to quadratic equations. So we will be dealing some fractional equations. We need to simplify them to make quadratic equations, and then finally we're going to find the solutions of those quadratic equations. So dear students, again there is a quadratic formula shown to you on the screen. X equals to minus b plus minus b square under root b square minus 4ac whole upon 2a. Now in this formula, this factor, consider this factor b square minus 4ac. This is something very important. It gives three basic results, right? This is called discriminant. Now, for the quadratic equation, if you get the result of this b square minus 4ac greater than 0, like generally we have been getting this answer as greater than 0, what do? We easily find the square root of that number. We put a plus sign and minus sign with it, and then we simplify it by making two columns. We get two answers, and the two answers are called two real solutions. This is the thing which we have been doing earlier. Now, second thing, if we get the result of b square minus 4ac as 0, if we get the result b square minus 4ac, it simplifies, everything gets cancelled, and we get a result 0, then this is a special case. We will only have one real solution. Okay, we won't have two answers, we will only have one answer. That one answer will be our only one solution. Okay, now the last important thing, if the result b square minus 4ac is less than 0, less than 0 means k, if you get a result as inside a radical sign, inside a root, you get a negative number like -3, -2, -4, -8. If you get a negative number inside a root, then the things become impossible. Okay, even your calculator will not give you any result. The calculator will also give you an error. Okay, so in such a case, what are you going to write? You're going to write it has no real solution. Okay, what I mean to say, when you simplify this by putting the value of b square 4a and c, and you simplify it, and let's suppose you get a result as negative root 3, and you try to evaluate this by using your calculator, the calculator will give an error for this case, means this is not possible. Okay, and for such a case, what do you need to write as a solution? It has no real solution. So these are the three important cases which you need to understand, and we will be applying these in the upcoming questions as well. So let's do one question related to this. Question number 4 of exercise 1b, solve the following equations if possible. If possible means you need to think these three cases. Maybe there is a solution, or maybe there is no solution, right? So Part A, Part C are relatively very much easier. Let's do a difficult part first because we have been doing these questions earlier. So let's do this part first. This is part B, 3 upon 4 x square plus 2x minus half equals to 0. Now what we need to do in this, we need to get rid of these fractions like 3 upon 4 and 1 upon 2. What can we do to simplify these? You can find the LCM, or we can multiply with 4. We can multiply for all the terms. Okay, the best thing is that we have been doing it as like simplify this 3x square upon 4 plus 2x upon 1 minus 1 upon 2 equals 0. Now you can simplify this by finding the LCM. The LCM will be 4 equals 0. So you get 3x square plus 4 twos are 8x, 2 goes 4, 2 times 2 ones are 2 equals 0. You can cross multiply this 4 over there. 4 multiplied by 0 is finally 0. So what do you have now? 3x square plus 8x minus 2 equals 0. That's what I said. If you have fractions in the quadratic equation, what can you do? You can get rid of the fractions by taking LCM of the denominators and then simplify it, and you get a single line equation. Now this is a simple quadratic equation. You know that the value of A is 3, the value of B is 8, and the value of C is negative 2. All right, dear students. Now, what do we do next? We use a quadratic formula, that is x equals negative b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Okay, so let's plug in these values of a equals 3, b equals 8, and c equals minus 2. So let's do it. Negative 8 plus minus, and then 8 square minus 4 multiply by 3 multiply by minus 2. Okay, now what can we do in this case? 2 multiply by 3. Okay, furthermore, x equals negative 8 plus minus. Now 8 square is 64, and negative 4, 4 threes are 12, 12 multiplied by negative 12 multiplied by negative 2 makes negative, negative, negative becomes positive, and we have positive 24. All right, dear students, and 2 threes are 6. So what can we do now? Negative 8 plus minus, added the two numbers 64 and 24. 4 and 4 makes 8, and again 6 and 2 also makes 8. Now 88 is not a perfect square. Okay, so 88 is not a perfect square. So we need to take help of calculator to get the answer of root 88. So please do it. So we get the result as under root 9.38, negative 8 plus minus 9.38 upon 6. Now this is the first case. If I go back and tell you, this is the first case which we are doing. All right, boys and girls. Okay, so we get the result of b square minus 4ac greater than 0. Can you see this? It's 88 is greater than 0. So this is the first case. Okay, now we will have two real solutions. We will have two answers. Okay, boys and girls. So that's why I did this part to make you understand. Now make two columns underneath this, and in two columns x equals minus 8 plus 9.38 upon 6. X equals, now negative 8 plus 9.38 divided by 6. You may use your calculator and you will get the result as 0.23. That's your first answer. Likewise, you do the same working again but with a minus sign, or x equals negative 8 negative 9.38 upon 6. Again, you are allowed to use your calculator. Negative 8 minus negative 9.38, and then finally divide the result by 6. You get the result as 2 point minus 2.89. So, boys and girls, this is the first case which we studied earlier, that if the result b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, then we get two real solutions, right? So we have two answers and two solutions. That's the first case. Now let's move on to the previous part. Uh, Look at this one. Part A, 0.5 x square plus 1 equals x. Now, what is 0.5? If I ask you to change this 0.5 into fraction, what do? You know that 0.5 means half. Okay, if in any test you get your marks as 9.5 out of 10, so you may also say that I got 9.5. Okay, so simply 0.5 means 1 over 2. Okay, so let's do it. 1 over 2 x square plus 1 equals 0. Now in the next step, cross multiply this x, cross multiply this denominator 2 over there, so that it gets multiplied with x square plus 1 equals 2 multiplied by x is 2x. Bring this 2x on this side, x square minus 2x, and then plus 1 equals 0. Okay, boys and girls, now here you have a equals 1, b equals minus 2, and c equals 1. And then you can easily do it by applying quadratic formula, and then you can do it as very easily. So I'm leaving it for you guys. Please complete it. Now this is another part C, another case, and see, let's see what do we get here. 5x minus 7 equals x square. So again, whenever we solve any quadratic equation, we need to have a 0 on either side, either on right hand side or on the left hand side. So let's shift these numbers on this side. 0 is equals to x square minus 5x plus 7, or I can write it as x square minus 5x plus 7 equals 0. Okay, now we have the coefficient of x square, that is a equals 1, b equals negative 5, and c equals positive 7. What do we need to do? We need to use quadratic formula to plug in these values. What is the quadratic formula, boys and girls? X equals negative b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac whole upon 2a. So very quickly, let's plug in these values. Negative b. As we can see that the value of b is already negative, so I can write it as negative, and then in a bracket negative 5 plus minus negative 5 square, and then we have a negative 4, the value of a is 1, and the value of c is 7. This is all under root, under the radical sign. Then 2 multiplied by a. What is a? A is 1. Okay, let's simplify this. X equals negative and negative makes positive 5 plus minus. Now look at this. 5 fives are 25 minus 4 sevens are 28 whole upon 2. Let's simplify this over here. What do we get? X equals 5 plus minus. Now 25 minus 28. 25 minus 28, you get a result as negative 3 inside a root sign. So this is another case. Now go back and check this out. The last case. If b square minus 4ac is less than 0 means it may be minus 2, it may be minus 1, it may be minus 10, or it may be minus any number. But if it is negative, if it is less than 0, then you're going to say that it has no real roots. So this is this case number 3. You have got a negative 3 inside a root sign. So even if you try to use your calculator and you're going to find by using your calculator under root negative 3, you will not get any answer. Even your calculator will give you an error there. So in this case, in this case, what you're going to write? You're going to write it has no real solution. It has no real solutions. Why? Because this is not possible. Because this is not possible. All right, boys and girls. So this was another special case. I hope the concept is clear and you have learned this. Okay, if you get the value of b square minus 4ac as a negative number, then you're going to write it as it has no real solution. The solution is not possible. Okay, dear students. So let's move on to the next part. Now moving on to exercise 1D, question number 1. Solve each of the following equations. Again, we have got some fractional equations in this exercise. So what we need to do, we need to manipulate it by moving all the numbers on one side. Let's do it. So let's cross multiply this denominator x plus 4 on this side and see what do we get. So 3x minus 1, then we have x plus 4 equals 7. All right, boys and girls. So what do we get now? We need to multiply the two brackets. What do we need to do? We need to multiply the two brackets. So let's multiply 3x into x is 3x square. 3x into 4 is 12x. Minus 1 into x is minus 1x. Minus 1 into 4 is minus 4 equals to 7. So let's simplify this. 3x square, 12x minus 1x is 11x minus 4. Bring the 7 on this side. Negative 7 equals 0. We can simplify it more. X square plus 11x minus 11 equals 0. Okay, boys and girls, so 3x square plus 11x minus 11 equals 0. Now, we need to simplify this. We can simplify it easily by using a quadratic formula. And for that, we need the values of a, b, and c. So I can see the value of a is 3. The value of b is 11. And the value of c is negative 11. So what do we need to do? We need to use a quadratic formula, negative b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac whole upon 2a. So very quickly, let's plug in these values. Minus 11 plus minus under root 11 square minus 4. The value of a is 3 and the value of c is negative 11. Whole upon 2 multiplied by 3. All right, dear students. So let's simplify this more. X equals negative 11 plus minus under root. 11 11s are 121, and then we have got 4 3s are 12, and then 12 into 11 is 132. Am I right? 132. So again, minus 11 multiplied by minus 4 makes positive. So we have got plus 132. Whole upon 2 3s is 6. Okay. So minus 11 plus minus. Added the two numbers. So your calculator will give you the result as 253. Okay. Then again use your calculator. 253 is not a perfect square. What is a perfect square nearest to 253? Anyone knows? It's 256, but this is not 256, it is 253. So we need to use our calculator to evaluate this. So the answer for this is negative 11 plus minus root 253 gives the result as 15.92, 15.91, sorry, 15.91.6. So again, now we need to make two columns, either or. All right, so x equals negative 11 negative 15.91 whole upon 6. Use your calculator and you may get your result as negative 11 negative 15.91, and then you get the result as divided by 6. So use your calculator, you get the result as negative 4.49. 4.49. Let's move on to the next answer. X equals negative 11 plus 15.91 upon 6. So you can get your result as 15 minus 11. That's 4.91 divided by 6. So you get the result as 0.82. So these are the two answers, negative 4.49 and positive 0.82. So again, what we did here, we manipulated it, we simplified the given fractional equation, and after simplifying it, we found a quadratic equation. We extracted the values of a, b, and c. We plug in those values in the quadratic formula, and we found two possible answers. Okay, the last question of the day. Solve each of the following equation. Again, there is a fractional equation given to you. You can see there are two denominators on the two sides. What can you do? You can cross multiply the two denominators on the other side like this. All right, so let's do it very quickly. 2 multiplied by 3 minus x and equals 5x multiplied by x plus 1. Okay, let's open up the bracket. 2 3 is 6 minus 2x equals 5x squared plus 5x. Now, in order to make it a quadratic equation, we need to have a 0 on either side of the equation. So 0 equals 5x squared plus 5x. Bring this negative 2x on this side becomes positive 2x. Bring this positive 6 on this side becomes negative 6. Simplify this more, plus 7x minus 6 equals 0. So dear students, you can see the value of A is 5, the value of B is 7, and the value of C is negative 6. Okay, now again, quadratic formula, x equals minus b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac whole upon 2a. Okay, so negative b plus. Now I need to plug in the value. So what's the value of b? It's 7. So it will become negative 7 plus minus under root 7 square minus 4. The value of A is 5. The value of C is negative 6 whole upon 2 multiplied by 5. Alright, dear students, so let's do it very quickly. Again, x equals negative 7 plus minus 49. 7 sevens are 49. And there are two minus signs, so it becomes negative and negative positive. 4 fives are 20. 4 fives are 20. 20 into 6 is 120, so we get plus 120. Okay, upon 2 fives are 10. Now look at this. What do we get? We get a perfect square inside this radical sign. That is 49 plus 120 makes 169. And we all know that 169 is a perfect square. That's the square of 13. So we get the result as negative 7 plus minus 13 upon 10. Alright, dear students. So what do we need to do? We need to make two columns, either or. So x equals negative 7, negative 13 upon 10. Now negative 3, negative 13, negative 13, negative 7 makes negative 20. Negative 20 divided by 10 is negative 2. So the first result is x equals negative 2. Right? And then the other part of the solution, x equals negative 7 plus 13 upon 10. So we can simplify this. 13 minus 7 makes positive 6, and then positive 6 upon 10. You can give your answer in decimal, you can give your answer in fraction. 2 3s are 6, 2 5s are 10, 3 upon 5. Or you may write it as 0.6. Both the answers are acceptable. Uh, Boys and girls, hope your concept is clear now how to solve fractional equations and simplify them, and then we get a quadratic equation, and we have learned different ways how to solve quadratic equations. Uh, Hope today's lesson was very informative for you guys and we have learned something new. So this is the end of our lesson, boys and girls. What have we learned today? We learned how to solve quadratic equations by using quadratic formula. Also, we have learned how to solve fractional equation that can be reduced to quadratic equations. So thank you guys. Always be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all his blessings. Okay. Attempt the homework right after this lesson for a better understanding. You all are requested to leave a response. Thank you all. Uh, I read your comments, and yes, I made that silly mistake there, inside that under root, and I made a mistake. So my sincere apology. Thank you all whoever noted down, and I have corrected it. So leave a response. Have a nice day. See you all again tomorrow. Until then, Allah Hafiz.